So we're back on the 59. A lot of you guys are going to be happy to hear about that. A lot of you guys are wondering, like, what happened to the 59? What's going on? Well, we're just waiting on the weather. That's all. We need it to be a little warmer before we paint. And I explained that in the last video. So anyway, just a little reminder. We are waiting on warmer temperatures. But for now, I mean, we've got plenty of prep work still to go. Anybody, catch anybody up. 59 Dodge Coronet. All original. She was a little crusty when she got here. You can see it here. This is the hood we haven't really done anything to yet. I mean, this is good compared to what the rest of it looked like. The roof, we've already knocked the roof out. The biggest panel on the car, we went ahead and got out of the way. Roof was pretty crusty, but man, she's nice and slick now. That's what we're going to do with the rest of it, of course. But before I could do that, I got a little bit more prep work to do. For one thing, this panel, the hood, is not fitting properly. You can see we're touching here. That's not going to work. If we painted this and left that like that, you already know, all the paint's going to get chipped off the edges. Can't leave it. The hood is too low through the middle. You can see here the difference, and what's happening is when you open the hood, it actually rubs against this cowling here and rubbed all the paint off. And of course, we can't leave that like that. So we got some adjustments to do. Well, we're too low out here on the edges too, on both sides. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to get inside of here. I'll show you. Let me show you this right quick. Watch how that catches. Yeah, obviously that's not going to work, right? But if you look down inside of here, that's right where the hood hinges mount to the firewall. There's two bolts on each side, and they actually bolt through from under the dash, which sounds like a pain, but it's really not. Check it out. So this is just under the dash here, as you can see. Let's get underneath here and see what we're working with. I'll try my best to get the light in, you guys. This isn't ideal, but up inside of there, hopefully you can see, there are two bolts right there, and they are in slotted holes. Now, from what I can tell, we're actually down in the bottom of the slot. So if we were to loosen those two bolt holes, we should be able to raise it up in the slot. There should be plenty of room. From what I could tell looking underneath there, we should be able to adjust that out just fine. Get that hood up just, I mean, we're talking this much. It's not, I mean, this is very, very minor. It's just fine little details like that. If you don't do that, you're just going to chip all the paint off all your edges, and what good did we do at that point? So near as I could tell, we're mounted in here. The fender mounts to the radiator support itself right here. So I think if I were to come in here, undo these bolts, and then probably undo these as well, I think that fender will slide over. These are the bolts I'm talking about. 1, 2, 1 up top, 3. We may have to do some down the side. We'll see here in just a minute, but let's get these first. Get these two out, and I think we can move this thing around at that point. Let's see. May have to put a spacer or something in there. Now remember, we don't need much. We just need to open that gap up a little bit so the two panels don't rub together for the most part. Finally got smart and got me a ratchet. Make this a little easier, I think. Drop the hood down, see what we got. Oh, hang on. Okay, y'all, so this is what I've got. Everything is loose. I've got me a little pry bar in here. Let's see what happens. Look at that. I'm just putting a little bit of pressure on it, and the gap opens right up where we need it to be. I mean, that's almost too good, really. Look at that. Perfect. That's exactly what we're needing. And all I'm doing is right up in here, this is where the fender bolts to the radiator support. And look, they've got you a little spot there. I mean, look at that. Look how cool the factory was. They left me a little spot right there to slide my pry bar in. And all I got to do is just pry that fender over, just kind of push off of that radiator support a little bit. That's opening my gap up. Awesome. Look at that. So, obviously, we need that to stay open. And the only way we're going to be able to do that is we're going to have to get in there and put a few shims in, and that's okay. That's how they did it from the factory. Not a big deal. We'll put a few shims in there, tighten it all back down, and that gap should stay open. We'll get it to open up about right in there, something like that. See if we can't get it to stay that way. We'll come over here and see if we can't find us some shims. I ought to have some old shims in here somewhere. I got drawers of this old stuff. I see one already. Look at that. All right, so that's what we're looking for those of y'all that don't know. I got all kinds of them in here. There's some bigger ones there. Dig around. Yeah, there's some more. That's what we're looking for. So I'm going to dig a few of these out. Get some of these smaller ones down here. I think this is more what we're looking for, the smaller ones. But anyway, I'll dig through here, see if I can find some more. And then we'll get that thing bolted back together. I ended up finding quite a few of them, actually. We've got several sizes going on here. Cool thing about the shims, for those of y'all that don't know, is there's various thicknesses. These are some of your thicker ones here. And then we got thinner ones like that. You can see the difference here. So it just kind of depends on what you need. And we got various sizes. You can see this one's kind of large, and then this one's a little smaller. And then we've got even smaller than that. And of course, they all have the different thicknesses. Some of them are thinner than others. I think we got more than what we need here. Some of these bigger ones are usually more suited for bumpers and stuff. I think what we'll be using is probably these here. I'm gonna try to do this without blocking the camera too bad. Just want to drive this in there as a spacer, something like that. Something to kind of hold it open there. You see? If we have to, we'll get in there and loosen the bolts up a little further. We may have to do that. Let's see. Might help us out to loosen these off as well, since this piece comes across here and holds this to this, you know, it's all connected. Maybe that'll help us a little bit. I don't know. It's worth a shot. Oh, look at that. Yeah, the screwdriver just fell out. That's cool. I mean, it's common sense, right? If you got something here tying the two pieces together, it probably makes sense to loosen it all up, right? And that did make our gap come open even more, so that's great. That's exactly what we wanted. Oh man, this is all moving like butter now. Look, there's the factory shims. They came from the factory, and exactly, you know, they're exactly the same as the ones we're about to put in it. We're just going to add more, that's all. Something like that. Let's give that a shot. I don't know about you guys, but I think that's going to work. That's pretty nice. I mean, it matches this side. Pretty good, y'all. I think that's going to work. It's not rubbing no more, that's for sure. That's the best part. Now, we need to handle this part still. It's worth mentioning also, before I had to slam the hood really hard to get it to shut. And now, I mean, check this out. Just like that, it's shut. What it was doing is it was hitting right there, and that was making it harder to shut. Now, I mean, it's like one hand operation, just like a new car, man. That bad boy's shut. Unfastens exactly, you know, just as easy. Look at that. Look at this. One hand operation. Once we get it to stop rubbing back there, it'll get even easier. Let's not forget about these. So that's probably the quickest and easiest way to handle that situation. I mean, I guess we could get out there and strap it to a tree and try to pull everything over and do all of that, but this is the quickest, easiest way. Just space the fender over just a little bit. It's the same thing they did from the factory, man. They used to cram these things full of spacers, and they still sent them out of the factory with horrible gaps on them. So anyway, I think that'll work fine. That actually blends in. I mean, if you were underneath here, you probably wouldn't even notice that, to be honest. But anyway, that'll work for now. I think it'll be fine. What's next? We need to handle that hood at the back. Remember, we need it to come up just a little bit because it's rubbing. So let's do that now. Man, that shuts so easy now. Can't raise this up a little bit. There we go. I'm gonna go as far as I can go all the way up. See what that does. See what this looks like before we go over to the other side. Oh yeah, that looks nice. Look at that. Opened our gap up perfect. And right here, the height. I mean, look at that. I think that's gonna work. Let's do the same thing on the other side. And I think what should happen is it should raise this up high enough that maybe it'll stop binding on that. We'll see. All right, let's see if we get this side to do what the other side did. There we go. Let's see if I can hold this with one hand and tighten it with the other like I did the other side. I've already got my ratchet on the bolt, ready to go. All right, that actually worked. All right, hopefully that'll do it. Not bad, not bad at all. I can live with that. The height's not quite right though. See here, it's still a little low. I wonder if it still rubs. I bet it does. Yeah, it's still rubbing. Well, all we can do is try again. Okay, so the problem that I'm having is every time I hit the air ratchet, the hood falls back down. So what I've done is I've wedged this jack in here. Don't worry, we're not hurting anything. This is why you do this stuff before you paint. But just holding pressure under it while I tighten it up here. We've already got everything in place, ready to go. All right, so there we go. That should hold just enough pressure on that while I tighten it that it won't fall. All right, let's see if that did anything for us. Yeah, we got it that time. Look at that. We've got the height issue straightened out. We've got a good gap. I bet this still looks kind of low though. Let's see if it still rubs. Yep, still rubbing. So let's try to see if we can fix that now. See what that does. I tell you what, you can play with these old panels all day long trying to get them to line up right. Still shuts good. I mean, you could see we got the height right. I mean, both, it matches. So if it's still hanging up, the only thing we could really do at that point is maybe widen the gap out by moving the hood forward just slightly. Maybe the gap is just a little too tight. But let's see what it does. Yep. Still hanging up just slightly. I'll be dang. I was wondering if maybe I loosened that top bolt back off and stuck a spacer in there, if maybe that would scoot the hood forward just slightly. Let's try it out. I've already loosened it. Now I only loosened the top bolt, okay? I just want to see if this works or not. I'm not even going to finish putting it in there. I just want to see. Oh man, that's a bit much. Let's narrow it back down a little bit. All right, so obviously we're going to need a thinner spacer. I can't believe that little bitty spacer made that much difference. But that's all right. We got this much thinner one here. It's about half the thickness. Let's see what that one does. Go ahead and tighten it back. All right, let's see what that does. That is much better. That looks like a factory gap to me right there. What do you think? Let's go over and do the other side the same way and see if that fixes that issue that we're having with it rubbing on that cowling. Now we'll tighten it up just like the other side. Let's give it a shot, see what it looks like. Well, the gap looks good. The height looks good. Everything matches up like it's supposed to. All these gaps are nice now. Nothing's rubbing on anything anymore. Let's see if this is still rubbing. All right, we did it. Finally. It only took about half a dozen tries. That's how it goes sometimes on these panels. Like I said, you could adjust on them all day long to, finally get them right. And, these shims, that's something that they did from the factory for years and years and years. New cars, when I worked in the body shop all those years, we didn't use shims in anything. You never put shims in a new car. But all these old ones, that's just how they built them. So that's been a loose end that I've been needing to take care of for some time now, because I need to get that hood stripped and primed, and then that's the last panel. That's it. Everything will be stripped at that point. I'm going to do the deck lid at the same time. I've already got it all stripped down. It's got a few little dents here. Nothing major. Should be able to knock those out real quick. As far as that old hood goes, it seems to be in pretty decent shape. So I don't think we'll have to do a lot of body work on it either. But I do need to get it off the car, and I do need to get it stripped. And you might be asking, why are you taking it off the car? Well, when we paint the outside of this thing, I want to paint these jambs at the same time. So my color will actually go all the way inside, and it'll split down in here where the fender and the inner fender meet, the fender well here. This will stay black, but all of this will be blue. So anyway, I'm going to do all that at the same time. I'm going to do it with the hood off. All right, so there she is. About to get started on the very last panel. All right, so I got the car out of the way, obviously. Got the hood in here, everything's set up. I'm gonna get this stripped down now, going all the way down to bare metal, just like we've been doing with the rest of the car. Like I said a minute ago, I don't think it has a single dent on it anywhere, which is kind of amazing. I honestly think all I gotta do is strip this down and prime it and block it. I really don't think it needs anything else other than that. And we'll know more when we block it. If it's got any kind of low spots or anything like that, which I don't feel by hand. Yeah, I mean, this thing feels awesome. Kind of show you guys my setup. This has gotten me through this entire project so far. I basically just set me up a cart with all the grinders that I need, a separate attachment on each one. You know, everything from die grinders to little 3-inch angle grinders, you name it, DA. We got every kind of grinding disc imaginable just about to get us through this. On this, we're going to use our wire wheel. This one's just about had it, so I got a brand new one here. I've been getting these from Harbor Freight. They're like $5 a piece, and they have worked wonders on this. It's soft enough that it doesn't hurt the metal, but yet aggressive enough that it just knocks this paint right off of here. Once it's done, we could go back over it with some 80 grit on a sander, and we should have enough tooth there to start our priming process. Cool thing with this setup is these are just Harbor Freight grinders. They're super cheap. You could catch them on sale all the time. Get you one, man. Every chance you get, just grab you one of those and get set up to where you could set each grinder up with a separate wheel so that you're not spending all your time, you know, swapping out wheels from one disc to another or whatever. Really is a time saver. It's inexpensive. You know, these don't cost much. I think they're like, what, $19.95 or something like that. You catch them on sale all the time. They have their parking lot sales and all of that. So anyway, unsponsored content. It's just, this is how I get by, and it works fine. Let's get our new wire wheel put on here. We can get to work. Now this is the last panel that we got to strip. And we're done with all of that. Now you're going to want to get you a mask of some sorts when you're doing this kind of stuff, because this old paint is nasty. Now, you don't necessarily have to have something this elaborate, but at least some kind of a dust mask will be necessary. This stuff's no good. You don't want to be breathing it in. I think this is as good a place as any to get started. Okay, so there's half of it. At this point, we could go over this spot with all the 80 grit, get everything nice and roughed up now that all that old paint's off there, all that old epoxy primer. That stuff is super thick, really hard to get off of there. I could have sanded it all off with my sander, my DA or whatever, but man, it eats up so much sandpaper. One $5 little wire wheel from Harbor Freight knocked this whole hood out, and probably still be good enough to use for something else. So anyway, I save a lot of sandpaper this way. It's about the same amount of time either way, just saving a ton of sandpaper, which keeps costs down. Thought maybe we'd pull off of that hood for a little bit and get in here and work on this trunk lid for a minute. I got a few low spots here and there, mainly right in here. That's where the emblem goes on, and I think somebody's kind of pushed against it at some point because it left an imprint of the emblem, and it's low. It's all the way around. It's kind of a dent in that area. So that and just a few minor things. I mean, there's a little one here, and let's see, we had a little one here. It looks like that probably was a hail dent, and then same thing over here, another hail dent probably. So I'm gonna go ahead and address that now, get that over with. And then maybe we'll get back on the hood, or maybe we'll just finish this for now. This hood is something else. I've just about got half of it done, man. That epoxy is no joke. So hey, look at this. We've got a brand new spreader board. Somebody sent this to us. Roger Fleury, one of my subscribers, longtime channel supporter. I'll get this thing open. He sent this to us, and I want to say thank you. Appreciate that. That is really freaking cool. Somebody sent us something like this because I've been needing one of these. Mine just ran out, so that was perfect timing. So hey, thanks again, Roger Fleury. All right, so I think I'll start right in here. Go ahead and get that one wiped. It's not going to take much. That's a really thin layer, and most of it's going to get sanded right back off. Grab some more, come into these low spots here. Remember, it basically follows the whole imprint of the emblem that goes on there, which is pretty big emblem. It looks like somebody just maybe bumped into it at some point, created a low spot, the perfect shape of the emblem itself. So we'll go in, we'll fill all that up, we'll sand most of that back off, and of course we'll push the holes back through. We're not going to plug the holes up, we need those later. Somebody asked me in the comments section, they said, hey, how do you have so much time to put your mud on? It always looks like in your videos that you're able to take a really long time putting that stuff on before it hardens up. They said that most of the time when they're doing this, the mud kicks right in the middle of wiping it, and they end up losing half the mud, right? And I know we've all been there. I've done it too, lots of times, but all I can really say is just use less hardener. I mean, it really is that simple. You'll have to take things into consideration like temperature, I mean, if it's a hot summer day outside, you'll want to use even less hardener, and just be patient. I mean, if it takes 15 minutes, 20 minutes even for it to kick, so what? At least you got to put it all in the car without wasting any of it, right? So I don't use very much hardener is what I'm saying. And yes, I will have to wait longer for it to harden up before it's ready to sand, but at least I don't waste any of it. So what else do we have? I believe there was wasn't there? Yeah, there was one right there. Now we've already cleaned all of our surface, so we don't want to go touching any of this stuff with our bare hands. So there was that one. And there was one down here as well. Yeah, I don't even know if I showed you guys this one. Right here, there was a spot. So here we go. Look, we see we still got plenty left. Get in here, we'll hit this entire area here, and then we'll go back and knock it all back down. And at that point, it'll be ready for primer. Wipe it through here like so. Go back, get the excess off the edge. I mean, we've been messing with this for a minute. And it still hasn't completely hardened up yet. And it'll probably take another, I don't know, 15 minutes maybe before it's ready to sand. But look, we didn't waste any. This stuff's expensive. You don't want to go around just wasting materials. So we're going to be patient. We're going to go work on something else, probably back to the hood again. And before you know it, because time flies when you're having fun, right? Before you know it, this stuff will be ready to sand, and we can jump right back over here, knock this down, and have this ready to prime in. All right, we're getting there. I think our mud's ready to sand, so let's get over here and check on it. It feels pretty good. I mean, it doesn't really matter where you start. It's all got to get done, so I guess I'll just start down here. You have to be real careful when you're out in the middle of these big panels like this, because it tries to flex as you're sanding on it. And if this is flexing as you're sanding on it, you're not going to get a nice flat surface. So just kind of let the sandpaper do the work. Sometimes you might have to get a brand new piece of sandpaper. That way you got a nice fresh piece that's cutting really good. That way you don't have to push so hard. But this right here, this looks to be feathering out really good. I mean, look at that. That is a nice feather. You see how it's ghosting out around the edges? I mean, look at that. That's really fading out around the edges. That's perfect. It's a nice transition. It just goes to show just how big that low spot actually was. I mean, look at that. That's a good, I mean, that's the size of the palm of my hand. The main thing when you're working on these dents is to go in a cross-hatch pattern, you know, 45-degree angles like this, and then you want to come back around and go this way, 45 degrees. And you'll want to do that on all your body work. It prevents waves, things like that, ripples, all of that, and it just gets it straight. You can also get on here on a spot like this, kind of finish it up. I mean, look at that. That is a nice feathered edge. Should be perfect. Now, unfortunately, sometimes you'll run into situations like this here. Unfortunately, we're going to have to re-wipe this. I can feel that is still a little bit low. So that's okay. We'll blow this off, wipe it off with the acetone again, and just repeat the whole process all over again. Everything else looks to be fine. This is what I was telling you earlier. Kind of see the imprint of that emblem there. We'll have to poke our holes back through there. No big deal. As for the hood though, I mean, that's another story. Unfortunately, I'm on my last piece of sandpaper. This is the 80 grit. This is what I'm using to kind of chew off all that epoxy primer. I mean, it feels like there's like 3 layers of that stuff on there. It is extremely hard to get off. So I'm going to have to go get some more sandpaper before we can finish up on the hood. But we'll go ahead and finish this up tonight, get this knocked out. That way we're not sitting, you know, that's just one less thing sitting around in bare metal. Like I said before, throughout this whole project, we've been going kind of panel by panel. That way we don't open up too much bare metal all at once. It's going to be bad enough that this one's going to sit here overnight with half of it being in bare metal. But I think it'll be okay. We don't even have all the epoxy off yet, so we should be fine on that. But I definitely don't want this entire trunkless sitting out bare metal. No, even though we're inside of a shop, still not good. Let's get in here and poke our holes back out. Those are where the emblem's gonna attach to. Just want to poke those right in there, like so. Let's see, this one too, huh? All right, that ought to work. Got the metal all cleaned up, ready to go. Got it all wiped down with the acetone. We're lint free. Everything's good. So we're gonna come on over here, and this is what I've been using for anybody that might be new, hasn't been following along. We're using a 2K etch primer. This is a 1-to-1 mix. This is the primer. That's the activator there. I've been picking this stuff up at O'Reilly's. You know, it's relatively cheap. It's not expensive or anything. But I use that to go over the bare metal because it is an etch primer and it will etch itself into that bare metal. And then we'll put our 2K primer surfacer over the top of that, but we'll get to that in just a minute. Let's do this for now. It doesn't take much of this because you're literally just putting a very light transparent coat right over the top of that bare metal. You actually still want to see through it after it's on there, and it's not going to take much. 1-to-1 mix, so that means whatever we got there, we're just going to double it, obviously. That's where this comes in. This is the activator. Without this stuff will never dry, so we're just going to double that about right there. I feel that that is probably more than enough to do this deck lid. Give it a little mix. Throw the cap on. These are pretty cool. Just twist on like that. All right, so we're ready to go. The way I want to start this out, like I said before, a very light coat of this that you can actually still see through. We want to kind of avoid the bodywork the best we can. They suggest that we only put this on the bare metal. You don't really want to put it over the bodywork, but if you get a little bit on there, it's okay. Again, we're not trying to build up any layers here, not on this. We just want this on the surface, and that's it. Okay, so that's what we want right there. You can see how you can kind of still see through it. That's what we want. We don't want full coverage. I tried my best to stay off the bodywork, but we stayed off the big spot here. Yeah, we did get a little on the bodywork here and there, but that's okay. It'll be just fine. That's what you want right there. That's going to help the primer stick. The regular 2K primer doesn't like to stick to bare metal. The one that we're using, the high build, it won't stick to bare metal, so you got to do this first. For those of you that don't know, this is the spot that started it all. We thought we were just going to fix that dent and then send it on down to somebody else, let them take care of it, and somehow we ended up doing all of it. I don't know how that happens. But anyway, kind of funny that we've come full circle after all this time, but here we are right where it all began. All right, so here's the primer that we're using, just some Shopline 2K primer surfacer, kind of a high build, works pretty good, goes on really thick. Here's the reducer, and here's the activator here. 4 parts of the primer, all right, 1 part of this reducer, and then 1 part of the activator, and you're good to go. We've got ours already mixed up here. Let's get it in the gun. Let's spray it on. I'm going to go probably about 3 coats. That should do it. You probably noticed that I just went over the bodywork first. That's what I want to do first. I just want to get a good coat on there, let that kind of soak into that body filler, and then we'll go over the whole thing after that. Okay, so I think that coat is ready. It's dried up. I don't even see the bodywork. I thought maybe I'd at least see it kind of bleeding through, so that's awesome. It's disappearing that quick. So let's get another coat. This time we'll do it a full coat over the whole thing. There it is after 2 coats. She's looking nice and smooth. I'm gonna give it one more though, just for good measure. Give us plenty to come back and block it nice and straight, smooth. So here we go, one last coat, and that's gonna wipe me out on primer too. I'm gonna have to go get some more primer before we can finish anything up. So, you know, worked out. Good stopping point for tonight. So anyway, we'll take care of all that in the morning, and we'll get to work on another video for you guys. I guess now that that's done and drying, we'll come out here and drag some more of these branches. If you guys are new to the channel, we had a big old ice storm come through. I got all kinds of, look at these branches just everywhere, all over the property. I'm trying to get caught up on some of them, and that, look at the whole top of that tree is laying down here on the ground now. Lots to clean up, and I'm just doing it literally. I try to do it one evening at a time. I mean, we got this stuff everywhere. Look at this. It's everywhere, all over the property, one end to the other. I mean, look over here. The tops of these trees are all laying on the ground. That's what all this is. Look at all this. So anyway, every evening after I'm done with everything else, just before dark, I come out here and I drag as much of these things over to the burn pile as I can, and then I make myself a little fire. We'll get this one over there. I think this one will make a good fire. Oh yeah, I think that ought to make a nice fire. Look at that. We'll get this fired up, and that'll be that much less in the yard, you know? And we get to enjoy it at the same time. So it's kind of a silver lining to every dark cloud, right? What's going on, Bernie? You making an appearance? I think he's ready for this fire. See where that gets us. Throw some more on there. Tell you what, you get you a big old pile of wood like this and you think it's going to last a while, and it goes quick. That's all right. That just means it won't takes so long to burn all that crap up out there, because there's a lot more way back there. Boy, we got it going now. Well, you guys know the deal. I'm gonna go ahead and get on out of here, get everything put away for the night. And I appreciate you guys joining me on this kind of a vlog style video. You know, I know it's kind of boring. I think they're boring, but a lot of people watch them. I watch vlogs all the time of people, so I don't know. But anyway, there you have it. Like it or not, I appreciate you watching. And hey, in case you guys missed it, now that we have high-speed internet, I can actually start putting out more videos now. So here we go. You know, we're just kind of a little bit behind the scenes type stuff. If you like it, cool. If you don't, hey, you know, wait around for more car stuff. I don't know. I'm not sure what you guys are into. If you like the car flipping stuff, that's cool. Stay tuned. We'll have more of that. If you like seeing us work on these side projects, there'll be more of that too. You know, a little bit of everything, a little something for everybody, that whole thing. So anyway, stay tuned. The videos are going to start getting a lot closer together, and you don't know what you're going to get. You know, it could be a flip video, it could be a trip to the auction, it could be a car being sold, it could be a car being worked on, whatever. You know, it could be the new project coming in. Stay tuned for that, by the way. I can't wait to bring in my new project. We're going to bring it in, don't worry. We're waiting until we get a few more loose ends tied up. I need to get some of these other projects out of here, free up the space, and then it's coming in. So stay tuned for that. And like I said, stay tuned for another video coming very, very soon. So I'll see you guys later. Please, please, please like, share, and subscribe, all that good stuff. Don't forget my Instagram and my Facebook. Links in the descriptions, always. Hey, I almost forgot, you guys. I know I told you in the last video to go over and check my kids' channels out, that they got new videos. Well, they got them. Go check out Integrity Whips. That's my youngest boy's channel. He's resurrecting some Ford Rangers over there. He's got a brand new video out. Don't miss it. Go check it out, you guys. He drug that thing out of the woods, and he's got it going. So see where we went with that one. Me, myself, and Darlene, she's got a new video out. You don't want to miss that. Link in the description as always. Her channel is blowing up. I tell you what, I'm proud of her. She's doing good on that old truck. Y'all, you're missing out if you're not checking that out over there. Go over to Me, Myself, and Darlene. You won't regret it. And Low Love Life, that is my boy's channel. He's got that Copart Beamer over there, you guys. What a turd. I hate that car. I hate it. So anyway, let's see if he can get it going over there. He's still messing with it. So hit the subscribe button, help the boy out. He needs all help he can get on that one. So anyway, I'm out of here. I'll see you guys later. Well, it's time to put this one to bed. Everything's done now. Until tomorrow, I guess. We'll get out here in the morning and we'll block that trunk lid down, and we'll keep messing with that hood. Hopefully get that hood stripped down tomorrow. I'll have to get up and go get some more sandpaper, but that's all right. Looks kind of funny looking out there with no hood on it. You can hear that lifter. Has just a little bit of a lifter tick when it first fires up, and then it immediately goes away. And I've noticed if you'll drive it around a little bit, it'll actually stop doing it altogether. You can actually come out and fire it up and it won't even make that sound. It only does it when it sits for a long time.